Custom sportswear and workwear by Baru Sports in Ennis and Shannon. From clubs and schools to local businesses, we design quality gear that looks sharp and lasts. Baru Sports Ennis and Shannon, custom made for your team, your work, your game. Call us now on 061 364 750.
And you're all very welcome here to Pearse Stadium for the Galway Senior Hurling Championship semi-finals. Sean, a new venture under lights this evening. The first game, obviously, St Thomas's and Craughwell, and then Turlockmore taking on Loughrea in the other game. A new venture by the county board, and hopefully it'll go well.
Well, I suppose, Niall, if you have lights, you have to use them, don't you? Look, there's a lot of misgivings, and we've been hearing it. Uniquely, we've been hearing a lot of it for the last few weeks. Like, that semi-final day in Athenry has been ingrained, I suppose, in the likelihood as we get hit by Schlitter here by one of the Thomas lads in the warm-up. But anyway, that has been ingrained as a big day in Galway hurling. It's now been changed. I think the big thing for the four teams here today is that they would hope that the impact of the lights on the games won't be huge or whatever. That'll be just normal hurling or whatever. Look, we're looking forward to it. It's here now. I think for Craughwell and St Thomas's, could you get a more contrasting scenario? I mean, Thomas's just know how to do this. 8 county championships won. Their record coming into county semi-finals, is it 2014, I think, or 13 has been the only year they haven't been in the knockout stages for a huge, vast amount of time. They know how to get this done. Came late with a goal against Tommy Larkins, but that's what they do. I suppose a lot will hinge on the injury concerns coming out of the quarter-final for Craughwell.
It'll be interesting to see. I presume Tiernan Lean and Kieran Lean are probably going to be playing for their side. Keane Mahoney back then for Thomas is on the other side of the equation. So I think a start is important for both sides. There's a big wind blowing down towards the St Enda's end here, if you want to call it, of Pearse Stadium. That could be a significant factor.
Yeah, and look, there's always a breeze here. I mean, when you just travel by the coast road here, like, or the prom, I mean, there's nothing to stop the breeze coming in here, so you're going to have it. But I think teams are used to that. I think the one thing is the surface is absolutely fantastic. But I think probably for Craughwell, it will be more important to start the game in the sense that they need a good start or whatever. Their last semi-final is not that long ago, 2021. They too have a decent record in terms of reaching the knockout stages. The last meeting, though, would concern you in the sense that it was a big win for St Thomas last year in the preliminary quarter-final. But I think, look, this is a whole new ball game. I think Craughwell, they have a momentum, haven't they?
And in fairness, Sean, before we hand back, both of these teams are coming in as the only 2 unbeaten teams in the championship.
Absolutely, and they're the only 2 teams as well that got over that month break now. They topped their groups and got through the quarter-finals. The other 2 didn't. I think only 1 out of the 4 teams did it last year as well. But look, for St Thomas's, they're getting stronger now. They're getting Keane Mahoney back. I know Shane Flannery is missing. I know Bernard Burke is missing. But to me, guys like Damien McGlynn and Victor Manzo, Darren Farrell have stepped up to the plate this year. Look, we're looking forward to it. We're
looking forward to it. The game throws in at 5:45. It's live on Stream Sport, Galway FM, all in association with Galway GAA. It's Craughwell versus St Thomas's in the first of the Galway Senior Hurling Championship semi-finals, throwing in at 5:45 p.m.
And you're very welcome to Pearse Stadium, where the scene is set for the Forvis Mazars Galway Senior Hurling Championship semi-finals. A big double bill here this evening in Pearse Stadium. This first game being played slightly under lights, I suppose, the way we describe it. Craughwell taking on St Thomas's. Andy Cona's on co-commentary. Andy, we're down to the last 4, and I suppose the one thing about this evening, there's a lot of teams that would give their right hand to be here.
Exactly. A lot of us are kind of complaining, Sean, all week about the possibility of lights and the travel into Pearse Stadium, but there's 4 teams about to take the field today, Sean, and they will not care whether it's Christmas Day or it's the worst day of the year. They're happy to be here and they're delighted to be into a semi-final.
Alright then, let's start with the 2 teams. Craughwell in their now familiar yellow jersey with the green trimmings. They're on the left hand side as we look out from our commentary position here in the stand. So the Craughwell team is the 115 that started most of the championship games for them this same season. Stephen O'Halloran is the goalkeeper. He scored a penalty in the championship, and that defence certainly the mainstay mainstays of that defence throughout the championship have been players like Mark Curran wearing the number 3 jersey. Ryan Howley has enjoyed a good championship, as has Patrick Monaghan wearing the 4 jersey, with Alan Canlon in the 6 jersey. Midfield then, of course, a lot will be expected of the duo of Thomas Monaghan and Tiernan Lean. And here we start talking a little bit about the injury concerns, because Tiernan Lean, Adrian Prendergast, and particularly the star of the show in the championship so far this year for Craughwell, Kieran Lean, have come into this game as injured out, but they are starting, which is positive news. Kieran Lean has hit 138 for Craughwell in this championship, and certainly it's a team that you would expect that they would be looking forward to this game, and certainly you would also think that they need to start well, Andy.
They do, and look at they've from the couple of years, my own experience, Sean, with them in the past 2 or 3 years, look, it's massive progress for them. They're into a semi-final and they're here with their knives sharpened. They're ready to go, Sean, and they're looking forward to the game.
St Thomas's then, of course, their aim is quite simply to reach their 9th county final in 14 years, which is an incredible stat. In the last 16 years, this is their 13th county semi-final appearance, and it's a team that's very familiar. 2 changes from the 1 to 15 on the programme, with Cian Mahoney, who came on to such good effect in the quarter-final. He will be wearing the number 31 jersey, and also starting will be number 18, James Regan, who's added 4 points to his championship tally throughout the championship run of this year. That defence will be buttressed by Fintan Burke, and the full-back position, Shane Cooney, will be at centre-half back. And from there on, well, you look at the men that have done so much for them down through the years. Conor Cooney comes in with 142 to his credit this year, while Victor Manzo has hit 4-7, and the captain of the team, Éanna Burke, has hit 20 points, while Darren Farrell has also played a big part, largely in a defensive role. They have been here before, and they know the drill and know how to get it done.
They certainly do, Sean, and you can wax all you want about the mainstays of the team, the likes of the Fintons, the Shanes, the Connors, but it's the guys along the wings, it's the guys like Evan Duggan, it's the guys like Darren Farrell, it's the magic goal that Victor Manzo, who's learned his trade, obviously. He's seen the way Thomas do it, and when that goal chance came up in that semi-final, he certainly made it pay. So look at it, they have a strong mainstay, they have a strong supporting cast in that team, and like you said, Sean, to reach that amount of county finals in such a short space of time is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. Andy, look, we're under lights. I mean, there's a lot of factors around Pearse Stadium. You know, a lot of people don't like coming in here. The flip side of that, a lot of players like playing here. They like playing on the surface here. But I think the big thing is, are the lights suitable for hurling? And I think that's what we're going to find out tonight. And I think from a hurling point of view, that is the big question, because you don't want either of these games decided by a moment where a player loses the ball in flight or whatever.
Exactly. Look at it, we're all here. This is really the test phase, I suppose. You know, it's the first kind of major game. Galway played Clare here in the league stages earlier on in the year. But for club championship, this is kind of the tester now, and we'll see. Yeah, you'd hope that the lights won't interfere. But you'd imagine it might be that little bit trickier in the first game, because light is about to fade now, and then it'll certainly be lighter and heading for darkness in the end of this first game with Craughwell and St Thomas's. The second game will probably be dark from the start, Sean. So I suppose it's new waters for us all. I just hope that it's a good spectacle, and I hope it really, you know, it pays off that, you know, the GA have made the development here, and it's turning up big games, especially. No, it's a high stakes game. I just hope that like I said, nothing kind of untowards come with lights that might distract somebody in a crucial moment.
The breeze, Andy, I think earlier on this morning it looked like it was heading towards that old scoreboard over on the left hand side at we'll call it the Salt Hill Road end. Now it seems to have changed and seems to be heading towards the Orrisbourne and the Trow end. Yeah,
it is. It's heading towards the Prairie there now. And in fairness, for Pearse Stadium, it's actually quite mild, the breeze. We've come here obviously other different days, and it's been very, very strong. And look, at conditions can change as well too. Being right beside the sea, you could go in at half time and come back out, and the wind could be either totally died down, or it could be probably heading in the opposite direction. So look, at conditions there, in fairness, conditions are favourable. We've kind of staved off that rain that was forecasted as well too earlier on in the week for Saturday afternoon heading into Saturday evening. I think it's more so the south of the country that's getting that heavy shower. So look, at conditions are perfect. It's the stage is set.
Yeah, the breeze will be a factor, but Lord God, I think we were all checking our weather apps, and I never heard of many ways to check weather during the week as it did, but it ain't coming like it was promised thus far, but we'll take it.
No, and again, that's all going to add to a better spectacle. You're hoping for an open hurling, a better game, that better flow. The pitch is looking immaculate. You have to give your dues to the Pearse Stadium committee. The pitch looks immaculate. So look, there's no excuse for both teams here not to perform. Everything is exactly as you would possibly wish for, considering we're halfway through October as well too, and we're heading for the bank holiday next weekend. You know, the stage is perfectly set.
Both teams out in the middle of the field. The man that's actually between them is Shane Hines. He's the Rachor in charge of this first semi-final this evening. His two linesmen are Paul Fahy and Carol Collins. A few interesting facts. Both teams, Andy, have scored 118 points each. St Thomas have scored 797 and Craughwell have scored 991. 15 scorers each. Incredible to think that they're so near each other in that regard.
It is, and you stated earlier on that these are the last two teams left in the championship that haven't been beaten so far. So it's really going to be interesting. You have a younger, kind of youthful team here at Craughwell. They're kind of coming back up to the semi-final stage again after 4 years. You have the ageless, kind of timeless St Thomas's team that are still, as I kept on saying, they have had their break last year. They got 1 year off, and they've come back fresher and bolder than ever. So look, it just has the makings for a great game, Sean.
There is one big key difference though. Thomas have only conceded 1 goal in their 4 games, whereas Craughwell have conceded 10.
Well, as I said the last day, the crucial ball that dropped in that second half dropped on Finton. He didn't catch it, or he didn't break it. He didn't bat it down. He caught it clean. So you can see why when you have that spine of 3 and 6, Finton and Shane, that really is the difference because they're so solid.
Absolutely. So then the scene is set, as we say, for the start of the game. Both teams are in readiness. Ball is in and we're underway, and Tiernan Lean is the first man that's in possession for the men of Craughwell. He gets it off to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan's shot in towards the goal, but when it goes into Ger Kelly, drops it initially, but has time to control it and drive it out the side of the field. So we would say that Craughwell are playing or Thomas are playing with the breeze in the opening half from what we can see, Andy.
Yeah, and a good start for Craughwell there, just a chance to settle down. Tiernan had a good carry initially from the throw-in, popped it to Tom, who just kind of mishit it, but Gerald Kelly dealt with it comfortably and got to clear these lines.
So line ball taken by David Burke here. Takes a good ball right into space, goes past Conor Cooney, goes inside to the danger man that is Victor Manzo. Victor Manzo on the ball, coming out the field, being afforded a little bit of space, then turning onto his right hand side, turning in towards the goal, but that's the first wide of the afternoon for St Thomas's. Victor Manzo has been one of the standouts for Thomas's in the championship.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky from there. He
65, I think the referee is actually given.
Yeah, he was kind of protesting there at the end, but he took it in well under pressure, and support wasn't too close to him, so he was right to take the shot at the time.
Victor Manzo has hit 4 goals and 7 points in the championship, and I think the last one he hit in the quarter-final was the key one to get over the line against Tommy Larkins.
But he's been around the block now, Sean, for a few years.
Yeah.
He's contested, he's played in those big games, he's played in that big game down in Portlaoise against Ballygunner a couple of years back. He's won his All-Ireland medal, so he has lots of experience for his young age.
Conor Cooney, first score from a place ball. The 65 goes straight over the bar. A good start for him. As we say, Thomas is with the breeze in this opening half, so Stephen O'Halloran with his first puck out then into the elements here. Goes to the far side of the field, but Jared Burke is there waiting for it. Read the intention of the puck out. Goes back with the hand pass to John Head. John Head goes down over, gets away. Nigel Kelly puts pressure on him though. Forced a dispossession initially. Then comes back to Finton Burke, who shows his authority coming out with that ball. Then he's overturned though, and straight away Craughwell have a chance on here. Nigel Kelly, can he flick it inside or will he take it on? Cian Mahoney comes over. It's a free. We're playing the advantage. Cian Mahoney came over and made sure that Nigel Kelly wasn't going to get in there, but a turnover that nearly led to a goal chance.
Good turnover from Tom Monaghan. He picked it up and very, very quickly had that short snappy pass into Nigel Kelly, and he did the right thing. I think he was trying to rise it with the one hand and get the hand pass across, but Cian Mahoney blocked it off, albeit a little bit more robust than the referee liked, but it was a good break from Craughwell. You could just see there, Sean, also, sorry, from the puck out with Stephen O'Halloran, who has a really long puck out. It did get held up on the breeze there.
It certainly did. And I think Shane Hines is giving the first yellow card of the evening, and that's going to Cian Mahoney.
I think that's a little bit harsh, and I think Cian just went out to do his defensive duties and physically put in a challenge and stop that ball going across.
A corner back in the full back line would say exactly the same, wouldn't they?
I'm not going to disagree with Cian Mahoney, definitely not.
Free then to Kieran Lean, and Kieran Lean pops it over the bar. Good start for Kieran Lean, and good to see him out there. Ankle ligament injury, not quite sure if he's 100%, but simply had to start.
Yeah, he's in such high form now that Craughwell really needed him to get him out there anyway.
A point apiece. Gerald Kelly's huge puck out, broken down, and Burke tries to get onto it initially. Ball comes away from him, goes down the second time, comes out over the line though, and that'll be a line ball to Craughwell. And your whole point, I mean, we're 3 minutes in. This is all about Craughwell staying alive in these early period of the game, isn't it?
It is. It's just keep it nice and tight. It's track the movement from St Thomas's up front. No major mishaps, and just settle into the game now. And they'll be very happy with 3 minutes gone to be a point. They've answered Conor Cooney's free there, and they're on the road.
So Tiernan Lean has a nice line ball up in front of Jamie Ryan in the centre forward position, turns, plays the ball across field. Finton Burke and Nigel Kelly go for a race, and Nigel was behind Finton initially, but he's won the ball ahead of Finton Burke. Good play by Nigel Kelly, goes back with the pass then to Conor Gilligan. Conor Gilligan goes along the 20 metre line, coming on the 13 metre line, hand pass though to no one in particular, and guess who's back there? Conor Cooney, who plays this deep lying role often at the start of games and plays the ball upfield, gets it up towards Dara Burke, knocked away from him by Ryan Howley. few indications that there could be something in there for Craughwell, isn't there?
Yeah, this is probably could be following the template that Tommy Larkin showed in that first half, where they kind of used that big spaces, and there's even much more space obviously here in Pearse Stadium, so they're looking to expose, use the wide open spaces, and the likes of Nigel Kelly, the likes of Kieran Lean, they've big pace as well.
Line ball then, we can see a run being made by Darren Farrell on this side of the field, but Éanna Burke is going to have a pop at this. Doesn't go that far, but it might work out. Goes as far as the brother Dara Burke. Dara Burke does well initially, then loses the ball in contact, and it's won by Craughwell. A challenge there that sees Ryan Howley go back to Gerard O'Halloran. Gerard O'Halloran out to Darren McCartan, who plays this deep lying role, gets it out then to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan has Tiernan Lean on his shoulder. Good catch by Tiernan Lean. It's a point scoring chance here for Tiernan Lean off the left, striking towards the goal, goes to the wrong side of the post and wide. First wide for Craughwell. Yeah,
Craughwell seem to be trying to vary their play here now. They're happy enough to keep that short. They played it across the half back line once they turned over Dara Burke, and just to keep it alive before they send it in.
Puck out goes to Evan Duggan. Well blocked down though. A scoring chance here, maybe if it can fall in right for Jamie Ryan. He's well blocked down though. The ball goes in again to Nigel Kelly. He slips this time. He's the man that's been entrusted to go in on Fintan Burke. Tries to make the run inside. Gets the hand pass off then to Jamie Ryan. Jamie Ryan looking out, he needs support, but again it's well intercepted there by the men of St Thomas. I think it was Keane Mahoney. David Burke plays a 1-2 with Shane Cooney, and Shane Cooney goes through the central channel. Shane Cooney striking from his own 65. Well, it's actually the Craughwell 65 that he hit it. Goes to the wrong side of the post and wide.
Very confident there from St Thomas as well. Good win, 1-2 pass there. Nice combination from David Burke and Shane Cooney, and resulted in that scoring chance, but went to the right.
Short puck out. Patrick Monaghan on it from Mark Horan. Gets it to the crowded midfield sector again. Dara Burke puts pressure on there, and Thomas is do well to overturn Craughwell coming out, and David Burke is onto it. There's the hand pass out for James Regan. James Regan goes down the ball. He's won the ball. 3 Craughwell men in his slipstream. We're playing the advantage. We go back for the free. James Regan showing his experience there to win the free.
Totally, and just once or twice there Craughwell seem to be carrying that ball into traffic, and you're looking at the likes of David Burke, the likes of Dara Burke across that half forward line. Conor Cooney, you're not going to get out through those guys too easy, Sean, so they'd probably be a little bit more advised to let that ball move and vary it a little bit more. But super play from Thomas is now they're working that score. They're stopping those runs. They're cutting out those short passes that Craughwell are making, and they're turning them over very well.
So the free to Conor Cooney just outside the 45 metre line, striking into the Áras Sport on the throw end. As we said, Thomas is with that breeze advantage in the opening half, striking in towards the goal. The umpire nods to the other umpire. Second point of the day from Conor Cooney. Hard to believe it's 10 years since they met in the 2-15 county semi-final. On that day, Craughwell won it by a point. Niall Healy got 111 on that day, and he got the late winning score from a free. And of course, Niall Healy is one of 3 of the 4 management team that were red carded by Brian Keown in the quarter final that have their red cards rescinded.
Thankfully, anyways, but it's not like Niall Healy to have something to say. But he no, you'd have to say, like back then, if you were to tell the future back then and say that Thomas would go so strong and win so much, you would have been probably laughed at the time. But that you're dealing with one of the best teams that have ever played club hurling with Galway, Sean.
Absolutely. Dara Burke gets the hand pass to Conor Cooney in the midfield sector, tries to grate the ball inside to David Burke, knocks it ahead of him initially. Across comes Alan Callan to try to get a touch on it there to break it out, but David Burke gets it back to Conor Cooney standing on the sideline. Conor Cooney, that's a super strike by Conor Cooney, high and over the bar. His third point of the day. He's got 1 from play, 1 from a free, and 1 from a 65. 3 points to 1. Good. After 7.5 minutes, decent position for Thomas to be in.
Now, what's standing out for me for Thomas is their ventures up here into the half. They're into the Craughwell half. They're taking their scores. They're getting their frees and they're taking their points. Whereas Craughwell have gone up the other end a couple of times and they've got no return. So Craughwell nice and efficient.
Shades of that Tommy Larkins. Shades of the Tommy Larkins game like that too, weren't they? They were hugely efficient in that game.
Very efficient.
And very efficient against Athenry. If you remember, was it maybe 10 shots? The first 10 shots were all scores or whatever. So Keane Mahoney out to the 65 metre line to take the line ball, and then he decides, no, I let David Burke take it, and across comes David Burke, 2017 Galway captain, of course, looking upfield to see what the options are. 8 minutes gone. St Thomas lead by 3 points to 1 ahead of Craughwell in the Forvis Mazars Galway Senior Championship semi-final first game, as Victor Manzo does well to turn his man there. He's half hooked as he gets the shot away. Good defensive work in the end, and the ball trails out for a harmless wide. 8 minutes gone. 3 points to 1.
Yeah, good defensive work from Craughwell there. I just noticed David Burke is kind of deployed a little bit further out the field now than he was in the Tommy Larkins game. He seems to be back in his normal home of midfield.
That might be wind related too, in terms of trying to make an advantage of that, as Ryan Howley gets onto that short pass. Again, Craughwell engaging in that middle third, tries to play a ball inside, goes astray. Not a perfect pass, and again the free is given away. I think it was Dara Burke that ended up on the ground, and that will be a free.
But that's great tackling from St Thomas's there, Sean. They're, once Ryan Howley is hesitant with that ball, they close him down. They're going to eliminate that space, and a good block and a good turnover, and it's another free now with a strong breeze for Conor Cooney.
And if you engage in that, you're going to be worn down, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the one thing you have to know your own limitations as such. With this St Thomas's team, you can't make it a physical battle because they're so experienced.
Absolutely. So then the free taken by Conor Cooney. Back well deep inside his own 65-metre line, but this one goes to the wrong side of the post and wide. There wasn't a lot in it.
No, a good strike from Conor Cooney now, yeah, like we said, the elements are heading from right to left as we're looking out here from the stand, like, so Craughwell have to be careful because anything from 100 yards is a scoring opportunity.
3 points to 1, 9 minutes gone in the opening half. Craughwell trailing. Ball well taken by Tom Monaghan on the turn away from Conor Cooney, goes past the halfway line, looks for support outfield. Conor Cooney did it awful well though, dispossessed him. Ian Burke plays a lovely ball into James Regan, sipped away from him, that allows Gerard O'Halloran to come in, tidy it up initially and bring it with him out past the 65-metre line. Now it's a foot race between himself and Darragh Burke, eventually won back by Craughwell. Hand pass to Tom Monaghan, who started all this if you remember, goes back onto the 65-metre line. It shows a clean pair of heels, gets the ball inside to Darragh McCartan shooting from the edge of the semicircle, but that ball goes to the wrong side of the post and wide.
I have to go back in your earlier comment there, Sean. Full credit to Conor Cooney. He's tracked Tom Monaghan all the way, and another chance gone a begging for Craughwell.
Good puck out by Gerard Kelly, finding Darren Farrell, long ball in towards the goal. Stephen O'Halloran though does well to come out under the night lights and takes it. The goalkeeper for Craughwell gets the pass off then to Patrick Monaghan. Patrick Monaghan steps inside his man, then he gets it out to Lucas Kane. Lucas Kane gets the hand pass out to the far side of the field to Ryan Howley, and Ryan Howley goes long down the field, kicked away there by Cian Mahoney. Anything will do to get it out of that danger area. Picked up then by Damien McGlynn. Damien McGlynn gets the hand pass off to Darragh Burke. He's shooting from his own 65-metre line, but has gone to the wrong side of the post.
A little bit wayward as well from St Thomas's. Now they're doing, like I said earlier, they're doing very well to turn over Craughwell in those tight areas around the middle, but their shooting is a little bit gone astray as well too at times.
Puck out by Stephen O'Halloran, comes to the stand side of the field, going for the number 10 position. Up they go for the ball breaks. Who's onto the break is Tiernan Lean that's onto it. Tiernan Lean has a little bit of space, looks upfield and goes low then in towards Adrian Prendergast, who's fouled, and that gives us a chance for a free into Craughwell to give a shout out to the Galway Senior Camogie All-Ireland champions and indeed the under-23 champions. They're having a big breakfast morning. That's in the Clayton Hotel. It's on the 31st of October, 8:30. Table of 10 is €1,000. Look at, can we support this team? They were absolutely brilliant. They don't get central funding like the other hurling and football teams or whatever. This is a major event for them to try and gain a few pounds to go on the holiday. So anyone that can support the Galway Camogie team, I know they're going to be here later. Tommy Devan will be interviewing them out on the pitch. I think Cathal Murray and the girls will be here as Adrian Prendergast takes the free, puts it over the bar.
Exactly, Sean.
Or Kieran Ian, I should say.
When you go back to the great days, that's the Senior All-Ireland champions we're talking about there, so it's only fitting that they're very well supported, and it'll be great to see them here as well too in Pearse Stadium later on.
And it's hard that they have to go after their own funding, isn't it, to a degree? But anyway, that's for another day. As Damien McGlynn is on the ball in the left half forward position for that quick puck out, breaks it into Victor Manzo. James Regan comes across, but well taken by Gerard O'Halloran. Good play by the cornerback off to Tiernan Lean, who didn't quite execute the hand pass, but Ryan Howley breaks through the challenge and gets the pass out. 3 points to 2. Thomas at lead as Tom Monaghan plays a lovely ball inside for Conor Gilligan. Conor Gilligan at pace, gets it off to Nigel Kelly. Nigel Kelly is in on the 13-metre line, comes inside his man, a shot towards the goal, well blocked by John Hayne, comes out to Jamie Ryan in towards Gerard Kelly. Ryan didn't get the purchase on it, and the goalkeeper did well to control it, but it wasn't the hardest shot he ever had to deal with. Let off, Andy.
Very close. Good bit of I wouldn't say a clear on dinner and goal chance there, Sean, but this Craughwell certainly had the run on St Thomas's there, and had I suppose a 75% goal chance. Good save from Gerald Kelly, or it was blocked initially before it came to Gerald Kelly. Craughwell are kind of opening them up a little bit now.
Patrick Monaghan gets the hand pass out there. Craughwell were a little bit dithery there initially, but then get the hand pass off to Tiernan Lean, and he will move it quickly, gets it in field. Cross comes Evan Duggan though to take it down for Damien McGlynn. Damien McGlynn, the right leg heavily bandaged but showing no ill effects, gets the hand pass off then to John Head, who also has a bit of bandaging on the left knee. He looks upfield, sees what his options are, and then decides to go pretty long into the two-man full forward line in there. Evan Duggan tried to bring it with him, beaten to it though by Mark Horan. Out comes Mark Horan, one of the stars of the championship for Craughwell, gets it to Tom Monaghan, lovely switch of play over to Tiernan Lean, who's in the number 10 position. Tiernan Lean gets away from Shane Cooning and invites the runners to go inside, gets a hand pass, trying to get it into a perfect ball into Jamie Ryan. Wasn't on, Shane Cooning intercepted, but Craughwell do well to win the ball back. They've won the advantage. That's Adrian Prendergast, gets the pass out to Kieran Lean. Shane Hines is playing to see where it's going to end up. Maybe the advantage is over now. Kieran Lean thought about going inside, but then decides to come back out to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan, the right half forward position, takes on his man who is David Burke. Tom Monaghan taking on the shot from a distance out the field, but that one goes to the wrong side of the post and wide. They had the advantage. It didn't quite work, but we still remain at Thomas's 3, Craughwell 2.
They had the advantage, but what's noticeable to me is Kieran Lean was running out for that ball, Sean. He doesn't seem to be at 100%.
No.
Kieran Lean as he was going to gather that. Now he recycled it very well to Tom Munn, and I suppose they kept their momentum going and they didn't kind of pull up for the free, and the chance went to Beggan. But I have to give credit to the Thomases. They're very composed. Shane Cooney stood up Tiernan Lean very well there when he decided to take him on first, and close down the option of the clear score. Damien McGlynn seems to be sitting that little bit deeper as well too. He's tending to drop back towards Shane Cooney and provide a little bit of cover there. But it's a good contest, Sean, so far. 2-3 after. It's not, I know it's low scoring, but it's a cagey affair.
It doesn't feel like it's that kind of low scoring, does it? Because both teams are creating chances.
There's been chances on both sides, and both teams working very, very hard. There's been big turnovers on both sides of the up on the 45 on both ends of the field. And both teams, there's no panic stations yet for both. It's just they've both settled in, which is what I probably would have been the main aim very early on.
Craughwell man down getting some attention there. He's back on his feet. That's good to see. Carol Collins has the flag up that maybe it looks like there's going to be a change, and it looks like Adam Clark could be coming in. I'm not sure, is that for a full substitution or is it maybe...
I think the signal came from the medical staff. I think that a change might need to be made. So it's
Conor Gilligan.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate for him now. He's his first county semi-final at the senior stage to have to come off so early.
Yeah, Conor Gilligan was getting the treatment there for a few minutes, and he's sitting down on the sideline now. I think the management team are going to him. The physio is looking at him, but I don't know, his game could be over. But Adam Clark, we saw what he did in the semi-final or the quarter-final when he came in as Conor Cooney shooting from out on the number 10 position, but that ball goes to the wrong side of the post and wide.
Yeah, it was a good win there by Evan Brady from the puck. It was a clean catch and recycled out to Conor Cooney. That's it. The wides are adding up now a little bit for St. Thomas's, but they're still very strong, and Gerald Kelly's puck out is carrying all the way to that 45 on the opposite end for them.
Absolutely. So Stephen O'Halloran goes to the wing forward position on top of Adam Clark. It was definitely a puck out option now that he's come into the game. Shane Cooney though does well, but he threw the ball, and Adam Clark gives the signal that's like a win. We'll give a shout out as well to the in County Meath next Sunday. Longwood are in the Senior B final. There's a Galway man involved with them. That's Colm O'Mara. So we wish them and all the best of luck with that one, as the free is to be taken by Craughwell. Now Adam Clark, I mean, you know, he came in, he got a goal and a point the last day. He would have been on the team in the last few years, so he's 25 years of age. He's a capable operator. Oh,
he's a fine hurler, Sean, from my own, like I keep saying, from my own experience, and it's on the early stages of a Henry Sheffield panel as well too in his first year. So no, look at great talent there, but just and recovered very well from his cruciate injury.
Kieran Lean strikes the free well, and Kieran Lean puts it over the bar. So Andy, on the 16th minute, we're at level at 3 points apiece.
It is. It's a cagey affair. It's nice and open though. It's enjoyable even as a neutral now to watch it.
Darabog foul, free to Thomas's. Yeah,
they've Thomas is just happy to, like I said, Damien Glynn sitting back there as much as he can, supporting his half-back line, and they're doing very well to overall. St. Thomas as ever. They're working physically very, very hard. Anything that Craughwell are hesitant on around the middle, they're very happy to get in a big hit and turn that ball over. And here's another chance for Conor Cooney,
who's coming out to his own 65-metre line to take the free, which gives you an idea of the breeze that's behind him, even though we know he's a man that masters the long-range frees anyway, and he masters that one. Puts it high, puts it over the bar. Interestingly, he's the sole scorer so far for Thomas's. That's his 4th point, 1 from play.
Great score, judged the breeze perfectly, kept it very, very low. It was no more than 10 feet above the crossbar, but I think he learned his lesson from his previous effort to see what the conditions are like, so I think he'd make a good golfer.
There's plenty of that going on as well. As the puck out, broke it down, Darren Farrell is underneath it, gets it back to Shane Cooney, and Shane Cooney switches a lovely ball across to the brother, that's Connor, half dispossessed by Ryan Howley. Comes David Burke though to try and get a touch on it, but across comes Tiernan Lean, ball heading to the sideline. Jamie McGlynn goes in there, ball goes out over the line, and the linesman on that far side of the field indicates it's a Thomas line ball. Right down in front of Ian Burke being picked up by Lucas Kane, and Lucas Kane is actually his granduncle. John Mitchell was on the 1960 Wexford team that won the All-Ireland, granduncle of Lucas Kane. So John Mitchell back in 1960 won an All-Ireland medal with Wexford, so it's in the genes. As the line ball the far side of the field goes to Craughwell. And 18 minutes in, Craughwell will have to be happy with this, just trailing by 4 points to 3 into the breeze.
They'd have to be. They created plenty of chances. They would have hoped for a little bit more. They've had a few wides, and they had a bit of a half chance for a goal as well too around. So they'd have to be very, very happy with their start overall.
Line ball goes a bit astray, and Shane Cooney comes in, and Ian Burke is all on his own. The one man you cannot leave. David Burke makes a run in front of him, but Ian is happy to go forward and pop it over the bar. And the one man you do not want on his own in splendid isolation is Éanna Burke, who now becomes the second player for Thomas to score his 21st point of the championship.
Lucas
5-3.
Crane, Sean, showed his youth there. He made a run up the field to give an option for a ball that was taken from the far side, which was a little bit optimistic, and he left one of the most dangerous forwards alone in the county, and it ended up being recycled over to him. So that's a good lesson for a young man now to learn that he's hopefully not going to do that again for himself.
5-3 as Cian Mahoney's hand pass goes over the head of Fintan Burke, and that's in there. Thomas's Craughwell are causing a bit of trouble in there, aren't they?
Little bit of trouble.
Without a major dividend yet, I have to say.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble, but one thing standing out for me is that St Thomas's are that little bit more composed on the ball. They're happy enough. Shane Cooney's happy enough to wheel back out into the open space and look for a pass to the far side towards Conor Cooney. They'll be very happy overall, St Thomas's, and that's the way they play the game. They just keep battling every ball. The next ball that's coming, that's the most important for them.
Line ball doesn't go out or doesn't work as Craughwell wanted, as Jamie McGlynn ended up going down under the challenge there from Tom Monaghan. Referee Shane Hines deemed that that's a free for Thomas's. 19 and a half minutes gone. 5 points St Thomas's, 3 points for Craughwell, as the floodlights illuminate the field here in Pearse Stadium. And no doubt this game is a difficult game for both teams as well, Andy, because by the time the second half is at this stage, you'll be well into darkness. It
should be a lot darker than it is at the start at 5:45, but no, so far there hasn't been any, I suppose, major mishaps. It's nice and early in the game, but the scene it's a perfect scene, perfect setting for a county semi-final.
Great catch by Victor Manzo, who turned away, and he's breaking inside. We'll go back for the advantage if he doesn't score it, but Victor Manzo, in the year that he's having, does score it, ends up on the ground, but gets his first point. And suddenly, after I made the point that Conor Cooney was the only Thomas scorer, Éanna Burke and Victor Manzo, their two go-to forwards this year, come up with the goods and stretch out the lead to 6-3.
Took a little rattle there just after he struck the ball, but if he had realised Evan Brady was just ahead of him and David Burke was inside him again, there was a 3-on-1 situation there had he decided to put it back on the hurling carries a little bit more.
6-3, 20 minutes gone. St Thomas's lead, free given away by, looks like, Evan Duggan under that puck out, and that will be a free in again. It's interesting that Adam Clark has been puck out target that has been used fairly often, even though he's just in. Adam
Clark's is a big strong man, Sean, so he's definitely a guy. He's the one that you're going to be looking for, possibly him, the likes of Ian or Jamie Ryan, as well as probably Adrian Prendergast to be under those puck outs.
As we said, St Thomas is in the 13th county semi-final appearance in 16 years. In the last 12 years, this is the 6th county semi-final appearance for the men of Craughwell. And of course, they appeared in that county final of 15 as Kieran Lean takes the free, just strikes it well outside the 45-metre line, puts it over the bar. That's his fourth score of the contest, and it keeps Craughwell in touch, 6 points to 4.
It does, Sean. It does keep them in touch because they've gone a little bit flatter now than they were earlier on. They had a couple of half chances, and Nigel Kelly did very well on Fintan Burke earlier on, but Thomas's are getting a grip on the game here now.
Darren Farrell is the man that controlled that ball beautifully from the breakdown. Had the shot though that goes to the wrong side of the post and wide. They're 6 wide for St Thomas's. Darren picks himself up gingerly from that challenge as Craughwell come again. Tom Monaghan receiving that ball from Darren McCartan, who sits back in that deep lying roll, gets it inside to Kieran Lean, does well, gets on the ball, has the options left or right. He gets the hand pass off into a bit of space here is Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan will say thank you, puts that over the bar, and if we say that Éanna Burke got into a pocket of space a few minutes ago, Tom Monaghan did exactly the same there, Andy.
And Tom started off that move, he played that crossfield ball from just inside the 65 there, and it ended up from a good take from Kieran Lean. He took it down himself, carried it, shipped a heavy tackle, and popped it back out for Tom, who made the option again after laying off the initial pass.
And Craughwell will be happy they've answered the two Thomas's points in a row by two of their own. And
one thing to stand out is Tom Monaghan is his passing is electric this evening. He's very, very sharp. His short passing is of the highest quality.
Oh, that's a superb point by Conor Cooney. He was heading towards the end line. He was on the sideline. He was inside the 13-metre line. He was going to go across the goal with the pass, but he said, no, I won't. I'll pop it over the bar. What a score.
And what do you do with that? You think you have him in the right place. You think you're pushing him out right into the corner, not even pushing him wide into that corner, and to pull out a score like that, that's a superb score.
Oh, sensational score. 7 points to 5. Conor Cooney. Not the captain this year, Éanna Burke is, but the man that got his hands on the Tom Callan Cup in that great victory period for St Thomas's 8 county championships, as they win that ruck ball again from the Craughwell puck out diagonal over towards Victor Manzo. Victor Manzo taking on Patrick Monaghan. Both end up on the ground. We're going to play the advantage, are we? We're playing the advantage. David Burke has a chance to play it inside, but I'd say we'll go back for the free now. I said David Burke knew that too. And Victor Manzo causing a bit of trouble when he's out in front, Andy. He's low to the ground. If he gets it into his hand, he will take him on.
His ability to take that ball under pressure is of highest quality. But what I'm noticing here, it's St. Thomas's really strong, really dominant here on that break.
Yeah.
The ball has been held up. Obviously the breeze is a big factor now with that puck out. It doesn't seem it from here, but on the puck outs you can see from the clearances of the puck outs for Craughwell that it's been held up. But once it gets to the battle and Craughwell haven't got it won cleanly first time, it's a St. Thomas's ball all day long. David Burke seems to have pushed a small bit further into the half forward line as well too, but they have that outlet inside with Victor Manzo. Conor Cooney has been well marshalled, you know, as in like they're going to be watching him no matter what. Now they have another option in Victor Manzo that's able to take that ball in under pressure, so St. Thomas's are hurling very well.
Victor Manzo is getting some running repairs as Conor Cooney, who's on 38% of all St. Thomas's scores coming into this championship semi-final. This season, we have 24 minutes gone on the clock. Thomas lead by 7 points to 5, but what odds? They're about to lead by 8 points to 5 as Conor Cooney takes this free practically in front of the goal, puts it high, puts it over the bar, his 6th point of the contest. And the 3-point margin is restored for St. Thomas's. 24.5 minutes gone, opening half, as the puck out from Stephen O'Halloran goes across the far side of the field with Darragh Burke. It's the second time at least he's read that. Gets it in then to Conor Cooney. He's in no oceans of space again. Turns off the right. You cannot give Conor Cooney that type of space, but for once he doesn't convert this time. 7 wides over for St. Thomas's, but puck outs becoming an issue for Craughwell.
That's twice now Darragh Burke has cut out puck outs from Stephen O'Halloran into that space over on the far side, but St. Thomas's, once they win that ball out in the middle of the field, their distribution into the inside line is excellent.
Ball breaks from this Craughwell puck out. Who will get this one? Hits the deck. Rook ball comes back into the path of Ryan Howley, and Ryan Howley gets the pass off to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes into a sea of red jerseys again, then decides I'll get rid of it. Goes long in towards Keane Mahoney and Nigel Kelly. The ball hits the deck. Nigel Kelly sees Shane Cooney go behind and win that ball. David Burke then is hit unceremoniously. He wins the free, wants to take it quickly. Does try to take it quickly, which probably was a way of trying to get extra yardage, maybe, perhaps. But Shane Hines
seemed to have worked, but David tried to get the fast one away. But great win there, great initial contest from Keane Mahoney. Won that ball down the corner on Nigel Kelly and worked up the field there to David Burke, who shipped a very heavy tackle in fairness to him. But David Burke has really come back into it now, a little bit quieter by his standards in the Tommy Larkins game, but he's gone through a lot of ball now so far today.
Absolutely. 25:46 gone on the clock as Gerard Kelly comes out to take this free for his team. He's got 1 point from a free in the championship so far. He looks upfield. Would he fancy this one, I wonder?
Couldn't bet against him now because he is a fantastic striker for ball long distance.
45 metre line he hits it from. The stand side of the field is going to drop in around the danger area. Up they go for the ball, hits the deck. Who's onto the break ball? Victor Manzo tries to get it onto the hurdle. Back though comes Alan Callan to go back towards his own goal. He's lost it though. It's picked up by Evan Duggan, very close to the sideline, over the end line, still alive from a Thomas point of view, and eventually the ball goes wide. There was a little moment there where we quite didn't know.
It was. You had to make sure that ball there, and especially so close to the square, but it's ended up has gone wide.
Evan Brady is a big man in there, isn't he?
Big man, that takes a lot of minding. He's physically very, very strong. So anything that's dropping, he has to be minded on that.
Lovely take by Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes across the centre forward channel, striking off the left in towards the goal. It'll be the point of the day for Craughwell. It is. Super score by Tom Monaghan, his second of the day. The puck out broke down into his path, went across the field, and he took a good score.
Great score. Used his speed and his super skill there, and played the dummy. And great score from Town now. It'll settle him.
27 minutes gone now. It's 8 points St. Thomas's, 6 points for Craughwell. Puck out down on top of Conor Cooney. How often have we said that? Ball breaks nicely into Éanna Burke, and suddenly it's opened up for Éanna Burke. He's in a goal. Has to be a goal. Finished to the back of the net by Éanna Burke. Huge score for St. Thomas's, and Éanna Burke rattles the back of the Craughwell net 3 minutes before half time. It was a routine enough puck out straight down on Conor Cooney, who broke the ball into the space occupied by Éanna, and he finished well. Yeah,
superb take there, timed run perfectly on Éanna Burke. Carried it once he broke through the big semicircle from the football pitch. Only one thing on his mind, Sean. Super finish. Great score from Éanna Burke.
Craughwell won't be happy with the way the defence allowed it to happen, as Darragh McCartan goes back, wins the free from the puck out. 1-8 now for Thomas's. Craughwell 6 points. Suddenly a bit of daylight.
Yeah, it's Lucas Kane there. You know, he just got caught a little bit ball watching on that drop there. I think it was a good break from Conor Cooney in fairness, and that ball breaks out. That has to be won then, and the Craughwell defender has to be really alert for that. And Éanna Burke, using all his experience there, timed his run perfectly, and once he broke that challenge, he was never going to be caught. Super finish on.
And the one thing about Pearse Stadium, it gives you space, Andy. You can break onto that, and particularly for forward. You could see him lining it up from the minute he got in, well converted by who other than Éanna Burke. His first goal in this year's championship. Yeah,
and surprisingly, you imagine he's been so potent over the years in the inside line, but he's deployed much further out, much deeper now this year, and you cannot take your eyes. You can talk all you want about Conor Cooney, but Éanna Burke is just as dangerous.
Absolutely. Good response though from the free from Ciarán Lean, who pops it over the bar, brings it back to a 4-point ball game. 1-8 to 7 points. Still, Craughwell won't be too unhappy, but they won't want the lead to go out any further. They'll have the breeze to come in the second half. Down on top of Conor Cooney again. They got joy the last time. Darragh Burke comes in trying to win it there. Lucas Cade is there. Conor Cooney tries to win it, but the man that wins the break is Tom Monaghan for Craughwell, and he gets it off to Ciarán Lean, who puts it up into the right corner forward position where the John Head is deemed to have fouled Ciarán Lean.
Shane Hines is Shane's mind. John Head, in fairness to him, did very, very well there. He made the decision.
No, he did give the wrong decision initially.
He did, of course. Yes, he did. No, in fairness to him, John Head stood out. Exactly, it's a free out. John Head took the gamble, went ahead and broke past Adrian Prendergast. And in fairness to him, it was a free out to him initially from the first place.
Despite the signal initially, which we thought was the other way. Jared Kelly then to take this free inside the 45 metre line. Ken Thomas's add to that major now that they've got 1-8 Craughwell, 1-8 Thomas's, 7 points Craughwell as that free down the sideline. Well taken there by Éanna Burke, and Éanna Burke striking in again. That looks like it's inside the right post. What a score. In the space of 2 or 3 minutes, Éanna Burke writes his name over the end of the opening half. He hits 1-1. The point, a super score from out on the sideline into space, 1-9 to 7 points.
Super score, Sean. Made the run out into the space over towards the sideline here in front of the stand, took the ball in, wheeled back out, and a super score. Great score from Éanna Burke.
Puck out again to that kind of right half forward position, won this time by Ciarán Lean. Gets the pass off to Tiernan Lean, the cousin, who's making a run to the centre forward position. Comes back out to the man that has 11 on his back, Jamie Wright, who stood to strike, blocked down by Shane Cooney. Thomases are beginning to do things that Thomases do. Well blocked down there, but the ball breaks back and recycled back by Craughwell. Tom Monaghan then goes out the far side to Ciarán Lean. Ciarán Lean has a little bit of time, little bit of space, and Ciarán Lean pops it in towards the goal and puts it over the bar, a point that was badly needed.
In fairness, Craughwell, they're composed, they're trying their best to keep that ball alive. They are looking for the option of the pass to keep it into the better position, but St. Thomas has really looked like they're dominant there in that half back line now, and they're really turning the screw. 198
points to lead. Conor Cooney gets that puck out as well, gets it into David Burke, was in the right corner forward position. Dangerous ball across. Patrick Monaghan deals with it initially, gets it under control, being forced back towards his own goal line, though goes back to his goalkeeper, that's Stephen O'Halloran, who decides to go soloing out. Evan Brady is following, but the Craughwell goalkeeper stays going, goes past Conor Cooney and then delivers the ball downfield. You can notice as well that Thomas have upped the speed on their own puck outs as well in this last few periods. Cian Mahoney allowed the ball go behind himself, and Nigel Kelly goes back and reclaims it. Damien McLean goes back then to Cian Mahoney, who's beginning to assert himself in that full back line now. Goes into David Burke. David Burke broken away from him though by Mark Horton, and Mark Horton runs into 3 or 4 challenges, gets the hand pass off to Tom Monaghan, who's in a bit of space. Tom Monaghan goes past the 65 metre line, he's in on the 45 metre line. Tom Monaghan pulls the trigger, puts it high, puts it over the bar. Good response for Craughwell.
Good response for Craughwell. They just seem to be that they're working that little bit harder, Sean, to create their scores. They're probably, if you want to say, going the hard way about them, but they're manufacturing, they're getting them, and they're keeping themselves in touch.
1-9 to 9 points. It is a 3-point ball game. Puck out by Thomas, breaks in the half hour line. Darragh Burke goes back to David Burke. They are so good at recycling the ball to the man in the best position, and David Burke puts it over the bar. Good score.
David Burke naturally, they just follow up, they stay in line with the play, whoever has the ball in possession, and when they turn back out, the option is always there, and the heads are always looked up to try and make that pass. Great score from David.
110 Thomases, 9 points for Craughwell. Puck out again to this right half forward position, won by Adrian Prendergast, who's foul. We played the advantage, but I think Craughwell will be more than happy to take the free, and the free will be taken by Ciarán Lean. Not a give me now at all, because it's inside the 65 metre line. Well, he's a good bit inside the 65 metre line. But 32 minutes gone, Andy. We're into the additional time at the end of the opening half. 4-point ball game. If he was to get it back to 3, would you take it if you were from Craughwell?
Surely take it, and I was just thinking of Adrian Prendergast there. That'll do his confidence a world of good, because Cian Mahoney has really asserted his dominance, his physical presence there, his top class ability, and he's found it hard to get on that ball, so that free will get his confidence. Definitely Craughwell will be happy to be chance gone begging there now, but look, at 4 points is not totally unassailable. At the same time, they'll be happy to be in touch.
And there's the blow for half time, at which stage St. Thomas is going leading by 1 goal and 10 points to 9 points at half time for Craughwell. Craughwell. Don't forget, I think between the two games we'll have the Camogie girls will be here, and again a shout out for that big breakfast morning. If you can see the way to give the Camogie team some money for their holiday fund, I think it will be well appreciated. Half time and a quick summary.
Yeah, just St Thomas is showing all their experience, Sean. They've really, the physical battle. They've stopped Craughwell getting that run on them there across their half back line. They turned back some very good scores. Then obviously the major there from Éanna Burke as well too. It just makes that job more trickier for Craughwell to do, because they've had their couple of chances there. They've nailed a few towards the end of the half, made it a little bit difficult kind of halfway through it. But St Thomas is just doing what they always do, Sean, and they're very, very strong in nearly most areas of the pitch.
Good to see the youngsters from the city clubs getting out here at half time in the game. So come back to us live here on Stream Sport in association with Galway, GATV and Galway BFM. Second half live here, but at half time it's Craughwell 9 points, St Thomas's 110.
He's played in those big games. He's played in that big game down in Portlaoise against Ballygunner a couple of years back. He's won his All-Ireland medal, so he has lots of experience for his young age.
Conor Cooney say exactly the same.
I'm not going to disagree with Keane Mahoney, definitely not.
Free then to Kieran Lean, and Kieran Lean pops it over a score on the throw end. As we said, Thomas is with that breeze advantage in the opening half, striking in towards the goal. The umpire nods to the other umpire. Second point of the day, Alan Callan to try to get a touch on it there to break it out, but David Burke gets it back to Conor Cooney standing on the sideline. Conor Cooney, that's a super strike by Conor. I know they're going to be here later. Tommy Devan will be interviewing them out on the pitch. I think Cathal Murray and the girls will be here as Adrian Prendergast takes the free. Gilligan pace, gets it off to Nigel Kelly. Nigel Kelly's in on the 13-metre line, comes inside his man, shot towards the goal, well blocked by John Head, comes out to Jamie Ryan in towards Jared Kelly.
Panel as well too in his first year, so no, look at great talent there, but just and recovered very well from his crucial injury.
Kieran Lean strikes the free line to take the free, which gives you an idea of the breeze that's behind him, even though we know he's a man that masters the long range frees anyway, and he masters that one all on his own. The one man you cannot leave. David Burke makes a run in front of him, but Ian is happy to go forward and pop it over the bar, and the one man
perfect setting for a Thomas in the final.
Great catch by Victor Manzo, who turned away, and he's breaking inside. We'll go back for the advantage if he doesn't score it, but Victor Manzo in the year that he's for the men of Craughwell, and of course they appeared in that county final of 15 as Kieran Lean takes the free, just strikes it well outside gets the hand pass off into a bit of space. Here is Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan will say thank you, puts that over the bar, and if we say that Éanna Burke got into a pocket
this evening, he's very, very sharp. His short passing is of the highest quality.
Oh, that's a superb point by Conor Cooney. He was heading towards by 7 points to 5, but what odds? They're about to lead by 8 points to 5 as Conor Cooney takes this free practically in front of the goal, puts it high.
He's physically very, very strong, so anything that's dropping, he has to be minded on that.
Lovely take by Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes across the centre forward channel, striking off the left in towards the goal. It'll be the point of the day for Craughwell. It is. Super score by Tom. 27 minutes gone now. It's 8 points St Thomas's, 6 points for Craughwell. Puck out down on top of Conor Cooney. How often have we said that? Ball breaks nicely into Éanna Burke, and suddenly it's opened up for Éanna Burke. He's in that goal. Has to be a goal. Finished to the back of the net by Éanna Burke. Huge goal for this year's championship.
Yeah, and surprisingly, you imagine he's been so important over the years in the inside line, but he's deployed much further out, much deeper now.
7 points Craughwell as that free down the sideline. Well taken there by Éanna Burke, and Éanna Burke striking in again. That looks like it's inside the right side to Kieran Lean. Kieran Lean has a little bit of time, little bit of space, and Kieran Lean pops it in towards the goal and puts it over the bar, a point that was badly in his pace. Tom Monaghan goes past the 65-metre line. He's in on the 45-metre line. Tom Monaghan pulls the trigger, puts it high, puts it over the bar. Good breaks in the half-hour line. Darragh Burke goes back to David Burke. They are so good at recycling the ball to the man in the best position, and David Burke puts it over the bar. Good score.
David Burke.
And you're welcome back here to Pearse Stadium, where Craughwell are the first team back for the second half. And Andy, certainly very good to see the young lads from all the various clubs at half time out getting their little moment. I was going to say in the sun, but under the lights. Yeah,
it looks like Craughwell might have one change there. I think Conor Geoghegan seems to have come in there, number
Conor
20.
Geoghegan,
look at they've had their little break now and a chance to recuperate and get themselves going again for a second half. It'll be interesting to see now how St Thomas's kind of get on with that breeze. It is fair. It's not extremely strong, but there's certainly effect there with the puck out coming along. It's dropping kind of just between the 65 and the 45 on the opposite side, so it is a bit of a factor.
Certainly is. So it looks like Alan Callan is the man that's been taken off by Craughwell at half time, and into the game comes Conor Geoghegan. He had a fair influence when he came in now in that quarter-final win, and made one very important interception near the end to ensure that Craughwell are here this evening. Yeah,
he's not going to weaken the team whatsoever anyway. He's a big physical lad as well. Look at Craughwell from the last couple of years seems to have that little bit of influence of youth. Obviously Conor Gilligan, he's gone off there unfortunately. Kieran Lean, Nigel Kelly, again Oisin Cork is coming into the team as well too in the last couple of years. So yeah, they seem to be going with that youthful injection.
Certainly is. So we await Thomas's, who are probably keeping the more inexperienced Craughwell men waiting. They're in a nice position, aren't they, at half time, leading by 4, Andy. Still they have the breeze to face though.
They do, but they'll be very happy with how they went about their business in the first half. They made quite a battle around that middle, and that's where Shane Cooney, the likes of those, John Hedge, they enjoy those kind of exchanges. They've done very well, and they made the big break then with the goal. Obviously Ian had taken his chance with that break, but they'll be just happy to get back into the dressing room. They're doing the right thing, and they'll be very happy with how their first half has gone.
Certainly are. So the substitution has just been confirmed on the public address. Conor Geoghegan in for Alan Callan, and both teams get ready to go back in. And don't forget that at the end of this game, the presentation of the Galway Senior and Under 23 Camogie teams will be done by Tommy Devan of Galway Bay FM. Kerry Dolan and Cathal Murray will be under the mic as the ball goes in. Second half underway, and Tiernan Lean wins it for Craughwell. There will be no strangers to coming back in games this year, and I think the standout result for them definitely was that final group game win over Loughrea. As again they keep the ball alive here. Tiernan Lean from out the field now with the wind behind them on the 65 metre line, striking in towards the goal. It came in beautifully. Good score by Kieran Lean. Good start to the second half. Or I should say Tiernan Lean.
He won the puck out again at the start of the second half, as he did at the start of the first. He did well, broke to Tom recycled it back out, and Ryan Howley, good pass to Tiernan and a good score into with the breeze behind him, so they'll be happy with that start.
And Tiernan Lean has that in his locker, hasn't he? That long range shooting.
Left and right, Sean, very accomplished.
Puck out down on top of Darrell Burke, ball breaks. Jamie McGlynn is onto it for St Thomas's. 1-10 to 10 points now, 3 points between them. Conor Cooney takes the ball back, goes into Victor Manzo, who's in the 3 inside line now. James Regan and Evan Brady's with him. Tom Monaghan comes back to put pressure on Manzo, and goes Darrell Burke then to lift the ball and play a lovely ball inside. Suddenly Victor Manzo had got oceans of space in the corner forward position. Conor Geoghegan comes out to him now, crossfield ball into Conor Cooney. If he connected, it could have been a goal. Didn't connect with the ball coming across the edge of the square. Andy, goal chance. Huge
chance there for Conor Cooney. He, in fairness to me, tried the ground pull on it, and luckily for Craughwell it didn't work out, but Victor Manzo, excellent head up hurling, and got that ball across.
Darren McCartan, lovely ball inside, well taken by Kieran Lean. That's a super score by Kieran Lean. He was out in front of Fintan Burke, controlled it delightfully, put it onto his right, great score.
It certainly made David Hooper very happy there. He's trainer on the sideline, but super score under pressure from Fintan, and that's Kieran Lean coming into the game that little bit more now than he was in the first half.
That's a serious score.
Great score, Sean.
Yeah, 1 goal and 10 points for Thomas's. Craughwell 11 points, 1:47 gone in the second half. Puck out by Jared Kelly. Ian Burke comes back to try and claim it as the ball hits the deck. There's a swiping action by Ian Burke, and that's going to be a free for the men of Craughwell, who will be more than happy with the way they've added the first 2 points of the second half quickly.
Yeah, very happy now. Ian a little bit unlucky. The ball kind of went away from him as he was coming back towards his own goals to reclaim it on his own 65, and he a little bit of a swipe out there. And Craughwell will be so far very happy with that. They've started off from the throw-in pretty much here, and they've got themselves going rightly into the game.
So Kieran Lean comes out to take the free. It's outside the 65 metre line, but he does have the breeze behind him. 2 minutes 22 seconds played in the second half so far. Craughwell have hit the first 2 points of the second half. Can Kieran Lean make it 3 in a row for them? Can he what? Puts it straight over the bar. point number 8 for him. It was interesting that Ciarán Lean and Tom Monaghan are the only two scorers coming into at half time, but Ciarán Lean has added to that. They need more from the forwards.
Like I said, Tiernan has that in his armour that he can take his strikes from left and right, and it'll be interesting now for St Thomas to see how they're trying to keep the ball here and retain possession as much as they can.
Yeah, she went sharp for the puck out, then Cian Mahoney goes back to Jared Kelly. 1-10 to 12 points is the score. Thomas is leading by 1. Goal could be crucial in this game yet as Jared O'Halloran pulls it along the ground, gets it out to Jamie Ryan. Lovely flicked pass off the hurl, off to Tom Monaghan, two of the experienced campaigners for the men of Craughwell, and Tom Monaghan from the left half forward position. What a score! We're level in Pearse Stadium.
Super score for Tom Monaghan, but it came from the flick from Jamie Ryan, who had seen him out on the line here underneath his own management and his own dugout. Super score from Tom, and Tom has the skills. Once he gets into space and can carry it, he's a super striker left and right, so Craughwell will be looking to get him more on the ball. But a super start for Craughwell in the second half.
3 minutes and 20 seconds. They've got the 4 points back to level the ball game. Puck out down on top of Darragh Burke. Ball breaks. Who's onto it? Darragh Burke gets the touch inside again. Comes out of Craughwell hands of Ryan Howley. Ball though is picked up, even though he's on the ground, by Darren Farrell. Goes back then to Shane Cooney, and Shane Cooney drives the ball upfield. Suddenly David Burke is in oceans of space. David Burke bearing down on goal. He's happy to pop the point. How did he get into that much space? David Burke, lovely score.
Great pass there from Shane Cooney. He was under a little bit of pressure and probably possibly a late tackle on him as well, but yeah, great needle pass there to David Burke, and a smart score from him as well too to settle St Thomas's.
Stephen O'Halloran puts the puck out only as far as Conor Cooney, who came into David Burke. David Burke is in oceans of space. He's been fouled by Tom Monaghan. We played the advantage. David Burke is having a fair old influence in this contest.
No, that's super hurting from St Thomas'
Yeah.
because for all the pressure the Craughwell have exerted in the second half, they've knitted 2 passes together there. Correct decision passes under severe pressure. They've got a score from play for David Burke. He's manufactured a free there now as well too, from a free from a foul from Tom Monaghan. That's really excellent hurling, Sean. You have to commend St Thomas in that.
I would think that the Craughwell management would want to be looking at how they're picking up David Burke.
Well, like it's fine going north and getting those scores, but you have to keep your eyes on your own defence as well too. And if David Burke gets that ball, if you lose him and he slips you, he's going to either score it like he's done, or else he's going to draw that free.
7th point of the evening for Conor Cooney. Puts that ball over the bar. And we're back to 5 minutes in the second half. It's Thomas's 1-12. Craughwell 13 points all of a sudden. Long puck out down on top of Ciarán Lean. That's a great catch ahead of Cian Mahoney. What a score by Ciarán Lean. Oh, goes across the face of the goal. He went dancing a jig. I think he thought it was over himself. Great catch though.
Super catch under severe pressure from Cian Mahoney, but you can see the exertion of the wind there now for Stephen O'Halloran. His first half puck outs were dropping well short than normal. Here's another great puck out from Gareth George.
Conor Cooney goes in space again. Conor Cooney goes up the field, looking, trying to break it inside to Victor Manzo. Victor Manzo turning Patrick Monaghan, but Monaghan does well to hold him up initially. Ball is still alive, picked up by James Regan. James Regan on the 30 metre line, comes out to the 20 metre line, ends up on the ground. No frees to the referee. James Regan trying to recycle the ball, blocked down by Tiernan Lean, stays in the field of play though. James Regan tries to get it inside, breaks again into David Burke, hand pass out to Damien McGlynn. Damien McGlynn gets the shot away under pressure, but that one is not going to reach the end line, and out comes the goalkeeper. Stephen O'Halloran is onto it. 13 points Craughwell, but 1-12 for St Thomas. The clash of the neighbours here in the Galway Senior County Championship semi-final. Mark Horton goes back to Stephen O'Halloran, and Stephen O'Halloran, the goalkeeper, in the right corner back position, then drives a huge ball down the field looking for Ciarán Lean. He's having a great battle there with Cian Mahoney. Nigel Kelly is out trying to get the ball along the ground, but in comes Fintan Burke. Fintan Burke does awful well to win the ball and win the free. Yeah,
Nigel Kelly had his chances there to win that ball clean, but Fintan kept the hurling, kept the battle, and won it himself, and he's generated his free out. But you really have to commend St Thomas, Sean, because Craughwell took off in a blitz there at the start of that second half, but they've managed to stymie that a little bit now, and they've managed to pull back 2 scores themselves, and they've settled now from that initial little kind of a alarm spell now, and they'll tip along now, and they'll do as St Thomas do. They've done very well to recover from the Craughwell start.
And there's no one better than managing the game than St Thomas. Jared Kelly takes the free from inside his own half back line here, down on top of Conor Cooney again, who's in space, into Darragh Burke, who's in oceans of space. It's a simple point for Darragh Burke, and it's popped over the bar. Super score, but from a Craughwell viewpoint, is that too easy?
It's too easy, Sean. They're handing over easy scores there because they're in no man's land, the Craughwell defenders. They're not tracking, they're not following, and then no better than St Thomas is to recycle that ball and keep it alive. Great score from Darragh Burke.
The referee had stopped the play because he had spotted a foul, it looks like, by one of the Thomas players on the Craughwell man as the puck out was going to come, and he's now given more yardage. It's free to Craughwell, so the score does not count. As that score gone up on the board, it shouldn't, methinks. Paul Fahey's gone out to confirm that fact with the referee, so because he had blown the free, in fairness to him, before the play took place.
Just interested to see Tiernan Lean was on his back there, kind of stretching out his hamstring, so that might be a possible run and repair for Ian O'Connor to be doing for him now as the second half wears on.
So then Kieran Lean is going to take the free, but Shane Hines was just making sure that Cian Mahoney was back far enough. Cian Mahoney is standing with a hurl up, himself and Evan Duggan trying to put off the free taker. Kieran Lean strikes it, and Kieran Lean puts it over the bar. He's looking a decent prospect, isn't he?
Oh, he's a fine hurler, Sean. He's continued that rich vein of form that he had with the Prez, but showing very, very strong in senior hurling this year for Craughwell. So yeah, you're hoping that he's definitely one for the future.
9 points he scored in the contest. This puck out goes straight from the St. Thomas's viewpoint. It's 14 points Craughwell to 113 for St. Thomas's is what's on the score right now. Stalemate situation, just nearly near the halfway line. Eventually, it's Craughwell that have the ball very close to the sideline. The linesman on the far side of the field is Carol Collins, and he signals that it's going to be a Thomas's line ball.
That super play from St. Thomas, Sean. They've kept that ball alive. There's been no wild swings in that big ruck that's happened there, and they've eventually pushed Craughwell out for a line ball.
As we said, the ball goes into the danger zone again. Well taken on the turn by Victor Manzo. He's inside. This is a goal scoring chance. Victor Manzo is walking his way into the back of the net. Victor Manzo, from a situation that didn't seem to be yielding danger initially, from the line ball that came in the field, and Victor Manzo finishes at the back of the net. That's a big score.
Big score, and Craughwell left a lot of space in front of that inside line, but you'll know with Victor Manzo, when he gets that ball in his hand, he's turning straight away, and that's exactly what he did. A super goal for Victor Manzo.
David Burke was the man that took the line ball, broke to Manzo, who wants to take him on all day, and suddenly it's 2-13 to 14 points for Ian Craughwell down at the other end. Thomas's are able to score goals, 2-13 to 14 points. Craughwell have now conceded 12 goals in their 4 games so far. Thomas is still only conceding 1 in the championship.
Yeah, no, Victor Manzo, he did all the hard work to do there, took that ball in, as I keep on saying, a great sign of an inside man that he can take that ball in under pressure. He's a great outlet. Conor Cooney is that little bit deeper, Éanna Burke is that little bit deeper. They now have that big option on the inside. Good chance for Craughwell to kind of stay alive here now after their initial start. They seem to have gone a little bit flat there in the last few minutes. But it's St. Thomas has really shown all their experience. They're hurling very, very well.
They are, and they've now, Kieran Lean has popped that ball over the bar from the resultant free to bring it back to 15 points to 2-13. But St. Thomas's are now in a position that they want to be in there, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just happy for the stay battling ball after ball. They didn't hit the panic button whatsoever after that first 2 or 3 minutes where Craughwell took off, and they've really got themselves rightly settled again for the second half.
Short puck out to Darren Farrell, who then went across all the way his full back line to Fincher Burke, gets up the field. Conor Cooney well beaten to it there. Craughwell just need to steady themselves. Mark Horton did well, and then Jamie Ryan goes long up into that 3-manned full forward line. Nigel Kelly's on the ball now. Nigel Kelly's in the corner forward position. Hand pass off to Adrian Prendergast. Adrian Prendergast runs into 2 strong challenges. One of them is Dave Burke, comes back out to Nigel Kelly again, tries to dance his way inside, but he's over carried the ball. Free out. Now
that is super defending, and John Head has just let him know as well too after the ball has been turned over for the free out. But between them all there, Cian Mahoney, John Head, they're all getting the hurl in there. They're doing excellent defending, and they're stopping. They're getting the numbers in around. Once Craughwell kind of decide to turn back out with that ball, they're met with heavy tackles and super defending on all sides from St. Thomas's.
2024 last year, the quest for 7 in a row. They came unstuck in the county semi-final against Cappy, and I suppose we shouldn't forget last year's preliminary quarter final was a 10-point victory for St. Thomas's over Craughwell. That ball may have caught up some of the players in the light, I would say, as Patrick Monaghan tidies up for Craughwell, gets it off to Gerard O'Halloran, and it goes route 1. 2-13 to 15 points. The men of St. Thomas's lead. The ball broken down to Kieran Lean, gets the touch outfield, does well out to Adam Clark. Adam Clark though runs into a strong challenge there from John Head, who dispossesses him. Evan Duggan gets it out then to David Burke, and David Burke gets it upfield to Conor Cooney. Lovely ball into space again. Conor Cooney, man, slightly off him, you'd have to say, in that instance, which you cannot do with that man. James Regan comes in around the corner. James Regan has a goal scoring chance out for Thomas's. James Regan, great save, comes back to Manzo, comes back out then to Evan Brady. Evan Brady's on the ball, recycles, looking for Manzo. Howley comes in vitally, but it's a free into St. Thomas's. The third goal nearly came. Yeah,
St. Thomas's are really goal hungry. I think there was somebody threw a hurl once James Regan made that initial turn there. He was heading for goals, and a good save from Stephen O'Halloran in fairness to keep them alive. And yeah, you have to really commend St. Thomas's. Conor Cooney got that ball in space. He had it all to do to take it down and get possession, but once he did, his main job was to get that to the inside line again to keep it alive. And James Regan, super take. Craughwell are kind of in a little bit of trouble there across that half back line, but I think, Sean, as you alluded to earlier on, they're just not tight enough either on Conor Cooney, on Éanna Burke, that they're allowing them too much space.
There's certain players that you cannot give that space. Now, credit to Thomas's men who were able to find that space, and credit to the players that are finding them in the space. But Conor Cooney to take the free, he'll take them all day long. It's his 8th point of the contest, and St Thomas's ease out to a 2-14 to 15 point lead.
But they've been doing it all day, Sean. They've been looking for that pass from the 65, from the 45 into the inside line all day. They've been consistent in what they're doing, their game plan. So, they're really, really kind of sticking to that, and it's returning for them.
Tiernan O'Neill catches the pass from Ryan Howley, strikes from just inside his own half the field. That's expecting a lot when you could be feeding it inside, maybe. It
is. It's a big ask, and then that's the danger the Craughwell don't want to get into now, heading towards halfway into the second half, that they start blazing those shots from long range, because you would want to make sure your radar is in. And if that's not scored, it's a chance for Gerald Kelly to pick out a good puck out again.
Yeah, and he's taking his time on it. Goes to Darragh Burke, well blocked down by Ryan Howley. Only goes as far as another number 5, that's Evan Duggan, who's fouled. So we play the advantage, and then in that instance they don't, and they come back for the free. It's 20 points to 15. It's 30 minutes in the second half. In essence, Andy, looking at the board, a 5-point margin is not a big margin, as we know in the game of hurling, but it seems in this game that it is, because the Maestros are capable of closing out the deal. As we say again, David Burke takes a free all the way out to Darren Farrell, all on his own, and Darren Farrell pops it high, pops it over the bar. Alert, quick thinking, and Darren Farrell gets the point.
Yeah, 5 points is not an unassailable lead, Sean, but when you're operating like that, where you're handing away scores that little bit too easy, here's a good chance for Tom Monaghan now. Good break.
Tom Monaghan on the break, coming inside. Will he be happy with the point? Tom Monaghan strikes, and Tom Monaghan puts it over the bar. I think the Craughwell fans were urging him maybe to go a bit further. 5 points though from Tom Monaghan in the middle of the field. Tiernan O'Neill's got one as well, 6 from the middle of the field. Yeah,
that's the kind of blitz that was, as we pointed out for Craughwell at the start. They need to keep that more consistent throughout the second half, and the up and down periods won't be enough, because St Thomas's will get up to their medium level, and they'll keep that going consistently through the second half.
2-15 to 16 points. Puck out kind of broke, and it's picked up by Ryan Howley, who shows good penetration to get out through defence. We go back for the free. We was fouled initially, as Tiernan O'Neill couldn't quite bring the pass into hand there, and that will be a free for Craughwell, who are still alive. We're still ticking up to the 3/4 stage. Plenty of time in this game to see it swing anyway, but right now you would have to say that Cathal Daly, Robbie Lane, Morris Head, Trevor Fletcher, they'll be happier.
Very, very happy. But look, it's a great management team, as Johnny Kelly said during the week. But when you have the likes of David out there, that's controlling that midfield, he's dictating everything. Shane Cooney at 6, as we've constantly said, and any ball that's gone into that full back line, Sean, so far, John Head, Keane Mahoney, and of course Finton at 3, the rock there, they've not been panicked by anything. They've got through most of them, so they'll be very happy with how they're operating.
And Kieran Lean puts that free wide. Both David Burke and one of the other defenders will be happy to see that one go wide, as the Craughwell men go to the bench again. And in comes Oisin Quirk. He got 2 points when he was introduced in the quarter final, and Nigel Kelly is the man taken off. So it looks like Jamie Ryan is going to stay to the square.
And it's a little bit more power there now, I'd say, from Oisin Quirk, who's more of a half forward operator. That gives a chance to push Jamie in a bit further, and Oisin will get stuck into there in the half forward, and a good shot from him as well. But yeah, Craughwell really need to get going now. We're a good 10-12 minutes since that initial blitz, so they need to get themselves back into the game.
Looks like, in fact, it could be Adam Clark that's gone into the edge of the square. So 2-15 to 16 points. Puck out towards Éanna Burke, but it's won back there by Gerard O'Halloran. Gets the hand pass off then to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes running again, goes away from Damien McGlynn, has the ball glued to that stick, goes past the 45 metre line, striking off the stick in towards the goal. Gerard Kelly! Ooh! Some of the fans down there thought that might have gone into the net, but I think, in fairness to the goalkeeper, the umpires didn't even react. Close though.
A limit there that could be for a possible goal. Gerald Kelly went right to that limit, but in fairness to him, no, he was under control and he kept it.
Could be a talking point, as Shane Cooney is onto the ball in the centre half back position. 2-15 to 1-16. Gets it up the field into Victor Manzo again, who's out in front of Patrick Monaghan, but Monaghan goes in with a smother tackle but fouls him.
Yeah, Patrick came from a little bit behind there, Sean. I think he didn't. I think he didn't need to bulldoze through. The ball had broke for him. I think his momentum might have brought him through to create the foul on Victor Manzo.
Wow. The moment that some of the fans to our left hand side are still discussing was that over the goal line or not. Went into Gerard Kelly, the goalkeeper, took it down with a stick.
I think in fairness to Gerald Kelly, I think he controlled on his hurl. The end of his hurl, I'd say, was behind the line, but I think the boss, more importantly, was outside.
Meanwhile, down at the other end, Conor Cooney puts it high and puts it over the bar. His 9th point of the contest, and they stretch 6 in front, which is a big lead. 2-16 to 16 points. Conor Head about to come into the contest for St. Thomas's. Who's going to go here? It looks like it's going to be Damien McGlynn, who seems to be struggling with that injury, but he's put in a big shift for his team again. So Conor Head comes in, and off goes Damien McGlynn.
Conor Head straight into Tom Monaghan there as well too, and Damien McGlynn is, like I said, heavily strapped. It's not what you want, trying to with an assignment for Tom Monaghan for the day.
Tom Monaghan 5 points. Probably looking at this, that Stephen O'Halloran is half blocked out in his efforts to work it out, but Mark Horton gets onto it again. Great pressure by Thomas's. Evan Brady gets it off to Éanna Burke. Éanna Burke splits it back to Evan Brady. Evan Brady's in a goal. Great hand pass over to Victor Manzo, who finds the back of the net. A turnover coming out of defence. It started. Stephen O'Halloran's first initial ball was intercepted. They never looked comfortable working it out. Mark Horton ran into trouble. Evan Brady slipped it into Éanna Burke, who slipped it back to Brady, and Brady did very well to lay the hand pass over to Victor Manzo into the net. Big goal, 3-16 to 16 points. We're playing advantage. Darren McCartan is on the shot in towards Gerald Kelly. We'll go back for the free in.
Now, Sean, going back to that goal, the man to credit for that goal was Evan Brady. He dispossessed Mark Horn, broke it, took the pass back and carried it through and got it and laid it out for the goal. But St. Thomas has really shown all their experience there, Sean, but you just cannot afford for Craughwell to delay on that ball. No. You're either moving it straight away or moving it out to the pass quicker. The option outside they'll capitalise on those all day long.
And from a defensive point of view, you have to say, as the rain comes down here in Pearse Stadium, Craughwell will not be happy with that. It was trying to work a ball out where you get turned over. It'll be down as a cheap concession, won't it?
You know, obviously it's going to go against modern kind of hurling where but sometimes you just need to clear your lines there, Sean, to get that ball away from the danger. And Craughwell, you know, they could do with that option a lot more often than they are. Because you cannot delay, you cannot afford to put that ball back in the hurl, because as Evan Duggan showed, or Evan Brady showed, simple dispossession, and next thing 5 seconds later it's in the net.
Kieran Dean puts the ball over the bar from the resultant free to bring it back to 16 points for Craughwell, but 3-16 for Thomas's, or 17 points now for Craughwell, so there's an 8-point margin. It's a big lead as the rain comes down. The rain that was promised, Andy, has arrived.
It's a big lead now, and it's making that task for Craughwell that little bit harder now. Great take from Shane Cooney.
Shane Cooney, nearly up in the wing forward position for that puck out, can sit on the ground, control the ball, and then flick it out to Conor Head. Conor Head, though, his progress is stopped by Mark Horton. Mark Horton does well to go down on the ball, again being forced back the field, but gets it back to Ryan Howley. Ryan Howley stick passing it to Tiernan Neen, and Tiernan Neen gets it out to the far side of the field for Patrick Monaghan. Again, great work rate, this time by Dara Burke, who putting pressure on. Craughwell are simply being forced back the field as Patrick Monaghan now is on the ball. They stick to their principles, though, gets it out to Tiernan Neen, and Tiernan Neen into Ryan Howley, and Ryan Howley makes his way up the field, being followed by Evan Brady in that instance. Gets the pass off then to Prendergast, shooting from out the country, but that goes into Gerald Kelly, who takes it and controls it, flicks it over the would-be forward coming in. Confidence by the goalkeeper.
Very, very composed from Gerald Kelly, but no, Thomas is very, very happy now. They've any trouble that they've got here in the second half, they've really dealt with it admirably now, and they're really turning the screw now with 10 minutes to go.
With 10 minutes to go, I'm going to make the point that at 3-16 to 17 points now, Craughwell's year is on the line here. They can't die. Like, they've done very well to get to this county semi-final. It's going against them, I know, but they have to stay going.
It is. They've no choice now, but there's still 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
8 points in it. They just need to get that little bit more return from Adam Clark. I think a more return now from Adrian Prendergast on that inside line, and they have no choice now, only throw caution to the wind, Sean, and go for it, because so far they've been kind of within themselves a little bit, and Thomas's won't worry about that. They'll continue doing their job.
And Cathal Burke, the experienced defender, comes into the team for James Regan. James Regan has done his business as well, and has got 51 minutes in the contest as Finter Burke takes the line ball. Doesn't go all that far, but Shane Cooney half it dispossessed, but I don't think the players knew where the ball was, but the Thomas man went down. That was Shane Cooney. I think he was fouled, or he wants to get attention, and the referee has rightly whistled that. Craughwell going to the bench themselves as well. Looks like Sean Gilligan. Yeah, could be about to come in. What do Craughwell do now, Andy? They have what? We're nearly on 52 minutes, but there'll be another 10 at least with additional time. They have to go for it here, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they'll have to start moving that ball. Obviously, Tom Monaghan has got a super return from the middle of the field, five points there from play. that option is working well for them, but I think that they need to be sending that ball from here on. They'll lead goals from here on, Sean, so they'll have to move that ball quicker to the danger area. Obviously, Finton, Keane Mahoney, they won't shy away from that, but they'll need the goal, Sean, to stay alive and get themselves going. But anything can happen now with 10 minutes to go. If Craughwell find that form that they had very early in the half, they'll give themselves at least a bit of a chance, but so far you'd have to say that Thomas's, the kingpins that they are, they'll see this out now from here to the finish.
We're just waiting for the attention that's been received by the Thomas man. If you look at it since half time, we played 22 minutes of the second half. At half time, Thomas had 1-10 on the board, so they've scored 2-6 into the breeze. Craughwell at half time had 9 points on the board, so they've scored 8 points with the breeze.
Yeah, it's
the goals, of course, are the killers.
It's the goals of the killers, and that ability for St. Thomas's, for St. Thomas's to be able to take that ball in under pressure. Like, there were no gimmies, the goals that they've got. They still had to be won under pressure. Victor Manzo won it, turned. James Regan as well too had to be won first before the goal chance came fully. So they've certainly manufactured everything themselves. I think the Craughwell just seem to be kind of relying on, a little bit more hope, more so than St. Thomas's, who were kind of very assured. I think Shane Cooney got quite a rattle to the face there, Sean. I think that's what the hold up is.
Yeah, they're treating him for the court. There's a yellow card there for one of the mentors, I think. As the referee has indicated, of course, as we said, Craughwell had 4 of their management team, the Waterboy and 3 of their management team on red cards after the quarter final, but 3 of those were rescinded. Shane Hines has spoken to the linesman on the far side of the field, and I think we'll restart, but Shane Cooney has to come off to get more treatment for that. I think a cut across the forehead, just above the eye, forehead, and into the game now is Damien Finnerty. Damien Finnerty coming in for Shane Cooney, and the other substitution being made by Craughwell, where Sean Gilligan is coming in for Darren McCartan.
It must be quite the belt that Shane Cooney has received, because he won't want to be too long off the field now.
And Thomas won't want him off the field either. 3:16 then to 17 points. Jared Kelly will restart the play with a free over, you could call it, in the left corner back position nearly, just outside his 20-metre line. The rain sheeting down here now in Pearse Stadium. The breeze still with Craughwell in this second half, but thus far they haven't made enough advantage of it, as Jared Kelly strikes that high up into the night sky. Down it comes. Ball taken to the ground. Who's onto it? Craughwell win the break ball. Craughwell need to get the ball upfield now, and they need to get working on it fast. Up towards Jamie Ryan. Jamie Ryan on the ball for Craughwell, trying to get the ball in field. He hasn't scored yet in the contest. Kieran Lean then is dispossessed, and out comes Finton Burke. You can see the way the Thomases are going into this game as Conor Cooney plays a lovely ball up towards Evan Brady. Big strong man does well to hold it out in front of Patrick Monaghan. Good play by Evan Brady, who then takes him on. Heading towards the goal again. Evan Brady getting inside, flicks the ball inside. It's going to be Darragh Burke's goal into the back of the net. And my God, Thomases know how to get their goals, and Darragh Burke finishes into the back of the net. Again, it was Evan Brady. You credited him for the last goal. That was all about him. Darragh Burke finishing.
They just have it every way, Sean, up in that forward line, whatever you want. They have the silk and skill of Conor Cooney. They have Éanna Burke, but they have the power there in Evan Brady, who just not he's creative alone, never mind his scoring. Really manufactured a super score, and it seems an insurmountable task now for Craughwell, but a great goal from Evan Brady.
4:16 to 17 points. David Burke has dropped deep, picks out a nonchalant pass into Victor Manzo, a high ball into O'Halloran, who did awful well to catch it under pressure, and he gets it out to Ryan Howley. But the goals have been the difference. 4:16 for St. Thomas's, 17 points for Craughwell, as Craughwell come on the attack again. Can they come with anything in the latter stages of this contest? We have nearly 26 minutes. That'll be 56 minutes played of this contest, as Keane Mahoney goes back with the hand pass, and of course there's more game time into Keane Mahoney, isn't there, after his appearance in the quarter final?
But you have to say, all the goals that Thomas has got, here's a chance for Sean Gilligan. Scott White. All of them have been from the head up hurling.
Yeah.
Keep that ball alive, hit it into the space on the inside, and whether it's pace that's picking it up or it's power that's picking it up in Evan Brady, they just have it all sides. But I'm very, very admirable of St. Thomas's. They've continued doing that throughout the entire game. They've looked for that inside pass.
So Mark Monaghan is coming in for Patrick Monaghan on the Craughwell team, and good to see Shane Cooney coming back onto the field again. So that's a blood reversal. Jamie Finnerty saw a bit of action. Rain coming down in the night sky.
It's getting stronger, Sean, isn't it? It could be a big impact on the second game.
I think so. Puck out over to this same side of the field again, Jared Kelly, but finding Ryan Howley. Ryan Howley being put under strong pressure though by Shane Cooney, who was up there for the puck out. Ball comes across the half back line to Lucas Kane. Lucas Kane picks out and finds Tiernan Neen. Tiernan Neen in the middle of the field. Has to work something out from a Craughwell point of view. Tries to play it inside, looking for and trying to find Sean Gilligan. Sean Gilligan turns, the ball flicks off the stick initially. Thought about going in along the end line. There comes out with the pass, comes out to Adam Clark. Adam Clark plays a crossfield ball. Good ball over to Jamie Ryan. Jamie Ryan tries to get the ball inside. Well worked by Craughwell into Tiernan Neen. He's loses the ball though in the contest. That ball goes out over the end line. And or did it go over the end line or the sideline? We await the decision. And it's going to be a Craughwell ball.
Tackle Sean from Keane Mahoney really put his physical.
Well, if you go in there,
you'd want to be a lot sharper than that, because the tackle is coming and super interception, in fairness from him.
So then 27:47 gone on the clock. Line ball taken by Adam Clark. Goes in around the danger area again. Thomas have the numbers back there. Shane Cooney very close to the end line. Ball still alive. Craughwell get the numbers in there. Thomas will get the numbers in there. This is practically on the end line, but it's Evan Duggan that comes away with the ball for St. Thomas, who will love that. Gets the ball only as far though as Kieran Neen. Kieran Neen, Craughwell trying to work a goal, gets it out to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes back to Tiernan Neen. He's going to go for a shot, but Tiernan Neen topped it, if you like, and put it over the bar.
Yeah, he's as far on now, Sean, I think, taking his point at that stage, because there's quite the wall on that 14-yard line there for St. Thomas's. They've had to do a lot of work there, Sean, now from that line ball to get that score, which it just shows you the strength and the determination that's in that St. Thomas's back line overall, not just the full back line.
An 11-point lead. They're well worth it.
Every bit of it, Sean.
Yeah,
they've been the better team. They've consistently been the better team throughout the entire game. They've really worked their scores, and again the 4 goals just tells it all.
Absolutely. They're heading for their 9th county final in 14 years as Craughwell come on the attack again up towards Adrian Pendergast. Adrian Pendergast on the ball. I think he scored in the contest so far. Tries to play the ball inside, does get it inside to Oisin Quirk, got 2 points in the quarter final. Tries to play it across in field, goes out at the expense of the 65. Good defensive covering again. I think with Shane Cooney was the man that tracked back there, as Damien Finnerty now comes in as a full-time sub in this contest for St. Thomas's, who will just close out the deal now.
Yeah, they'll be happy, Sean, just to with the extra time or the added time hasn't been made clear yet now, but they'll just be happy to keep fighting here. They're too far ahead now, Sean. 11 points up to be caught. They'll just see it's home.
Yeah, Evan Brady is the man that's got that ball dropped in around the house. Connor Head though is back there to control it. Evan Brady coming off. He may not have a score after his name, but by God, he was involved in at least 2 of the goals and played a major part in that. As Dara Burke back helping out. He had 4 minutes of additional time as the signal. We played 59-43. Thomases are on their way to the county final. Victor Manzo is out in front of Mark Horan. Victor Manzo has a shot that Mark Horan blocks down.
Yeah, it'll be a long few minutes now for Craughwell, who kind of, as we said earlier on, they just those defensive lapses that they had, and obviously didn't get the return up front either from the likes of Adam Clark, from Adrian Prendergast consistently throughout the game to take that kind of score and pressure off Tom Monaghan and Kieran Lean as well too. It's been a tough kind of, who started off in a real blaze in the second half as well, Tom. But you just have to for Sean, you just have to commend St. Thomas's for their performance, because consistently they got up to that level that they play at. And they've combined the skill with the power, the hard work and everything, and they're certainly value for their 11-point win.
Damien Finnerty turning after taking that line ball. Damien Finnerty in towards the goal, but that one goes to the wrong side of the post and wide. And it's the scoring spread that Thomas have in this. They've got the scores from their forwards that Craughwell haven't got in the contest. As the ball goes downfield, batted away delightfully by John Head, gets it out to David Burke. David Burke, who's really played well in this contest. What a ball he plays over to Éanna Burke, his brother. Éanna Burke high, and Éanna Burke to the wrong side of the post. So the pass alone deserved the point.
The pass alone, Sean, and they've done that even just there earlier on. Damien Finnerty as well, to a ball across the field here. He looked under pressure and bottled up, but he got able to get his head up and get the ball across to Dara Burke. They've been just doing it all day long, hitting those passes.
4-16 to 18 points. Thomas' lead is Tiernan Lean coming in on goal on the 20-metre line, winding up for the shot. And that's the second point he's blazed over the bar in the last few minutes. It's the third point of the contest. They needed them to go under, though, as into the game comes Sean Fallon. He's already scored in this year's championship for Thomas. The man that's been taken off is Dara Burke. 31 and a half minutes played, so we have 2.5 left in the contest. St. Thomas's comfortably heading to the county final in 2 weeks. We don't know whether it will be played under lights. We don't know whether it will be played in daylight. Well, Thomas's know they're there. It
can be played out in Croft Beak in Kinvara, Sean, for all St. Thomas's care, because they've come in here with their blinkers fully on, and they've just done a fantastic job to get themselves on top and maintain that. A little bit of a panic station at the start of the second half, but no panic at all.
David Burke plays a lovely ball inside again to Damien Finnerty. Damien Finnerty striking high and putting it over the bar. Damien Finnerty putting his name in the frame for future involvement on county final day.
Great for Damien Finnerty as well too. Had a big involvement in that Camogie win as well too in Dublin, that they're going to be coming in it in between the two games here as well. So it's good to see him getting his score.
Absolutely. And of course the frightening thing for either Loughrea, the county champions, or Turlockmore, whoever gets through, is that Thomas have played in 8 county finals. They don't lose them, they win them all. As the ball is flicked over the head of Fintan Burke, but only goes in to Jared Kelly, and Jared Kelly takes his time, gets it out to Evan Duggan, and Evan Duggan picks a lovely ball into Sean Fallon. They've been able to stick past their way through this game, picking passes like that all day, as Tiernan Lean goes back to Ryan Howley, and Ryan Howley comes up the field. Craughwell will be disappointed with the way the year is ending for them, Andy, but they've had a good year as Tom Monaghan wins the free. They've done well to get here, but they'll be disappointed probably with the concession of the goals.
They have the goals. You have to know the man that's on the ground there showing the screenshot. You have to really commend Tom Monaghan for his super performance tonight. He's really took the fight to 5 points from the midfield area. He's constantly carrying the ball, constantly keep his head up, but you just have to commend St. Thomas's. They've just come back from that little bit of a year off that they had from their their fantastic run that they had there from 2018 on, and they'll just relish. They won't care who's coming next, and they'll happily sit back now, Sean, as well, and watch this second game that's to come here under the lights as well. So full credit to them for their super performance.
David Cherry comes in for Darren Farrell. Kieran Dean has no choice whatsoever but to go low with this free outside the 20 metre line. 33-34 played on the clock. 4:17 to 19 points as the scoreline. Kieran Dean deflected away, he actually put it wide. It was deflected, went wide. It's been that kind of an evening for them. Kieran Dean came in as an injured out, but he's done his part certainly in the game. He scored 11 points.
He stood over all his frees and he's got his scores. So he's for such a young man, he's a real important forward for Craughwell.
Victor Manzo again, lovely ball for Conor Cooney into Victor Manzo. He's going for another goal. Well saved by Stephen O'Halloran. He's a live wire in there, and they're trusting him in there as well. And he's now scored 6 goals and 8 points in this year's championship. The 6 goals is what really catches the eye. Yeah,
and before he puts that ball into the net, John, he has to get it into his hand, and that's the standout feature, the standout skill for me from Victor Manzo, is that his ability to do that under pressure. He's a dangerous forward. He has been. He's not new on the block. Again, that example there, Sean, just takes that ball into his hand, and the first thing he wants to do is wheel straight away. So I would say a nightmare trying to mind that, and his confidence is sky high. Like you said, that's the super amount of goals for such a young man in the whole championship.
Conor Cooney takes the result in 65, and Conor Cooney angles it over the bar for his 10th point of the contest. He gets into double figures, 4:18 to 19 points. We played 35 minutes of the second half. Long ball downfield. Can Craughwell finish with a goal? The numbers are back there though from Thomas's viewpoint, and back there is Shane Cooney. Good to see him recover from that injury. There's the whistle from the Rachor to signal the final score. 4:18 for St. Thomas's, 19 points for Craughwell. The best team won.
Best team won, Sean, and that is just a superb team performance is what you would call that, Sean. There was no individuals. Everyone did their job. Everyone held down their position. They got their scores at the vital time. They knew when to go for the goals. They manufactured them, every single one of them, superbly. So balanced overall, Sean. Defensively very solid there in the full back line. No worries for Fintan, no worries for John Head. Shane at centre back. David back to midfield again, as we said earlier on. Thomas's are back in the final, Sean, and it's going to take some team.
It's going to take some team to beat them, because they've sent out the warning here. 4:18 to 19 points. They have still only conceded 1 goal. They're now in their 9th final in 14 years. Our congrats to St. Thomas's. They're the victorious team this evening, and thanks to Andy Cohn and co-commentary as well. So in the end, it's St. Thomas's that marched to the county final. St. Thomas's 4 goals and 18 points. Craughwell 19 points.
Custom sportswear and workwear by Baru Sports in Ennis and Shannon. From clubs and schools to local businesses, we design quality gear that looks sharp and lasts. Baru Sports Ennis and Shannon, custom made for your team, your work, your game. Call us now on 061 364 750.
Again, they keep the ball alive here. Tiernan Lean from out the field now with the wind behind them on the 65-metre line, striking in towards the goal. It came in beautifully. Good score by Kieran.
Got that ball across.
Darren McCartan, lovely ball inside, well taken by Kieran Lean. That's a super score by Kieran Lean. He was out in front. The first 2 points of the second half. Can Kieran Lean make it 3 in a row for them? Can he what? Puts it straight over the bar. Pass off the hurl. Off to Tom Monaghan, two of the experienced campaigners for the men of Craughwell. And Tom Monaghan from the left half forward position. Shane Cooney drives the ball upfield. Suddenly David Burke is in oceans of space. David Burke bearing down on goal. He's happy to pop the point. How did he get in?
Low scores, but you have to keep your eyes on your own defence as well too. And if David Burke gets that ball, if you lose him and he slips you, he's going to...
Into Dara Burke, was in oceans of space. It's a simple point for Dara Burke, and it's popped over the bar. Super score, but from a hurl up, trying to himself and Evan Duggan trying to put off the free taker. Kieran Lean strikes it, and Kieran Lean puts it over the bar.
They've kept that ball alive. There's been no wild swings in that big ruck that's happened there, and they've eventually pushed Craughwell out for a line ball.
As we said, the ball goes into the danger zone again. Well taken on the turn by Victor Manzo. He's inside. This is a goal scoring chance. Victor Manzo is walking his way into the back.
For Craughwell to kind of stay alive here now. After their initial start, they seem to have gone a little bit flat there in the last few minutes. But it's St. Thomas is really showing up.
Find that space and credit the players that are finding them in the space. But Conor Cooney to take the free. He'll take them all day long. It's his 8th point. Burke takes a free all the way out to Darren Farrell, all on his own, and Darren Farrell pops it high.
Here's a good chance for Tom Monaghan now. Good break.
Tom Monaghan on the break coming inside. Will he be happy with the point? Tom Monaghan strikes and Tom Monaghan puts it over the bar. I think the Craughwell fans were, but it's won back there by Gerard O'Halloran. Gets the hand pass off then to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes running again, goes away from Damien McGlynn, has the ball glued to that stick, goes past the 45-metre line, striking off the stick in towards the goal. Gerard Kelly! Ooh! Efforts to work it out, but Mark Horden gets onto it again. Great pressure by Thomas's. Evan Brady gets it off to Éanna Burke. Éanna Burke splits it back to Evan Brady. Evan Brady's in a goal. Great hand pass over to Victor Manzo, who finds the back of the net.
Ball away from the danger. And Craughwell, you know, they could do with that option a lot more often than they are. Because you cannot delay.
He plays a lovely ball up towards Evan Brady. Big strong man, does well to hold it out in front of Patrick Monaghan. Good play by Evan Brady, who then takes him on. Heading towards the goal again. Evan Brady getting inside, flicks the ball inside. It's going to be Dara Burke's goal into the back of the net. Kieran Lean, Craughwell trying to work a goal, gets it out to Tom Monaghan. Tom Monaghan goes back to Tiernan Lean. He's going to go for a shot, but Tiernan Lean topped it, if you like. 16 to 18 points. Thomas' lead is Tiernan Lean coming in on goal on the 20-metre line, winding up for the shot. And that's the second point he's blazed over the bar. Lovely ball inside again to Damien Finnerty. Damien Finnerty striking high and putting it over the bar. Damien Finnerty.
He's a real important forward for Craughwell.
Victor Manzo again, lovely ball for Conor Cooney into Victor Manzo. He's going for another goal. Well saved by Stephen O'Halloran.
Man in the whole championship.
Conor Cooney takes the result in 65, and Conor Cooney angles it over the bar for his 10th. The numbers are back there though from Thomas's viewpoint, and back there is Shane Cooney. Good to see him recover from that injury. There's the whistle from the Rachor to signal the final score. 4-18 for St. Thomas's, 19 points for Craughwell. The best team won.